First of all, I guess I should say the first thing is happy opening day. It should be a national holiday as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, it should be. Everyone's excited.
The book is Mookie, Life, Baseball, and the 86 Mets. It's available at any fine retail stores, of course, Amazon, Barnes & Noble, all of those. Let me ask you a question. I'm curious as to your take on this, but has the game changed much since the days of the 86 Mets?
Well, I think baseball, just like anything else, the game has changed. I think that the culture of the game, the expectancy of the players and the organizations in general has changed. So, I mean, instant replay is the perfect example of it. So, the game has changed a little bit.
It is interesting to see how things have become a lot more, obviously the concept of watching pitch counts and even scouting, and just from kids growing up in this culture of kind of, almost on a track to become a baseball player. It's not just, hey, I love this thing and I'm going to pursue it. It's kind of like, well, from the time you're in high school, we're going to control your workouts, what you eat. We're going to kind of program you to become a professional baseball player, which seems a little bit different from the way it used to be.
Well, I think now baseball, just like other sports too, has become a career choice, and they start early. I mean, they're training at age 9 and 10 right now, and there's a lot of baseball being thrown, a lot of swings, so just a lot of effort out there. Just summer leagues and everything, all preparing kids for an opportunity to play in the major leagues, and that's definitely has changed. It's not this fun in games like it used to be.
Yeah, but you know what? There is something to be said for the people who kind of come into the game and professionals who... I look at a guy like Joe Mauer, and I know he was a Twins fan when he was growing up, and so he becomes a professional player, and he has an opportunity to maybe leave Minnesota and go make a ton of money somewhere else. But when it was time for his contract to come up, he was like, no, I grew up idolizing players for this organization. I grew up wanting to be one of these people, and I still want to kind of hang on to that feeling, of growing up as a baseball fan and being that for other people, instead of kind of viewing it as, all right, what's my next business opportunity?
Well, baseball is a business. I mean, in spite of what people may think about it, there's a business side to it. But there's nothing wrong with enjoying what you do. And
sure.
Joe Mauer is one of the few guys, I think, that probably would, say, hey, this is home, this is where I want to play, regardless, just give me whatever contract I can make, and we'll go from there. But, I think that the business side of it takes over because, that's what it is. That's what organizations see it, and I think that's where players are beginning to see it.
Oh, for sure. And now, speaking of people idolizing players, I mean, as somebody who grew up a Mets fan living in New York, you seem to be somebody that Mets fans really love and connect to, even beyond their love of that entire 86 Mets team. You kind of, I think, to a lot of fans, represent that real, the guy that's given it all, and he's just leaving it all out on the field and giving it, everything he has in every play. Do you think that kind of makes you, is that what kind of makes you resonate so much with the everyday kind of Mets fan?
Well, I think that has a lot to do with it, but I also think, I came up when a time when the organization was really struggling, and I think that it was a fresh look. I think that maybe I was one of the players that was different from what the organization had been accustomed to seeing. So I think that has a lot to do with it, and not to mention that I really enjoyed playing in New York.
Oh yeah, it's kind of unlike any other place, I'm sure.
But New York is special. I mean, the fans are very knowledgeable of the game. They appreciate the effort that people give, and they're very opinionated.
Yeah, that's for sure.
It could be good and bad, but it is there, and it's whatever you make out of it.
Now, I know that, in this book and a little bit last spring, you were talking about your relationship with the Mets organization today and how, just opportunities that you wish you had to work with the team more, things like being a first base coach or having a role in the coaching staff of the team. What's your relationship with the Mets like right now?
Oh, well, actually, I have a pretty good working relationship with the Mets. The statements made in the book was just basically what it was. It was my, just articulating my feelings and what I've gone through, and I wanted people to understand that even though you have positions and jobs and stuff, you're not always pleased with them, but that doesn't stop you from putting forth your best effort. And
right.
Everyone's disappointed at some point with, their positions and their jobs, and I'm no different. So I just want people to understand that, so they can understand that, hey, Mookie Wilson is more than what, you see and what you read about.
Yeah, well, and that's part of it, too, is that, unfortunately, when you're part of a huge moment like the Bill Buckner, the single between the legs in '86, people start to look at it as, you're one thing. But the reality is you've been part of the organization, and it's been a place that you've kind of called home for about 30 years. I mean, you've had a relationship with the team, and at a certain point, you just want to feel kind of appreciated or feel like you've got a prominent role within kind of your family, right?
Well, I don't think that's unreasonable. I think it's pretty. I think that anyone that has been with an organization for as long as I have would probably feel the same way if that is what you desire to do. Mm-hmm. And I think that no one wants to be defined by one moment in in their lives or careers. And I think people need to look at the whole. What do I have to offer?
Right.
And, I think that people need to recognize that.
It is interesting, too, and we're talking to Mookie Wilson. The book is called Mookie, Life, Baseball, and the '86 Mets. And it seems kind of, you look at the Yankees and the Mets in the way that they interact with members of their iconic teams, and it seems to be polar opposites. The way that the Yankees are willing to retire anybody's number, where you can't get a single-digit number anymore if you want to play for the Yankees. But the Mets are kind of hesitant to do that, even if they induct somebody into the Mets Hall of Fame. When are they going to put that number 1 on the wall, Mookie? Come on.
Well, I don't know. I don't know what the politics behind that. I don't know what the criteria is for having your number and stuff. Retired. I never was one for numbers, and to have one numbers retired, it would be a very honored, thing to happen. But it's not something that you look for. But you're right. The Mets don't have a lot of retired numbers on the board.
It's weird, right?
People can say, well, hey, who's worthy of that? Well, I think you can go back and you can find a lot of guys that were worthy. We're talking about something that is within the organization. We're not talking some national recognition. We're talking about something that's honored and someone that's contributed to the organization for years. And I think that there probably be a lot of guys that are worthy of that.
Absolutely. Now, I know we got to get wrap this up. Just got to get your thoughts. Any Mets predictions for this season?
No predictions yet. I think that a lot of things have to happen. The Mets are in, exploratory mode right now. We have a lot of young players that we want to see how far they have progressed, and we have some new guys coming in. We want to see what they are capable to do and can they maintain what they've done, in their past histories. And we have to stay healthy, and that's always the key when you're talking to young ball players. So let's see what happens.
All right, Mookie, I got to say this has been a career highlight, just an opportunity to talk to you. So thank you so much for your time.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Take care.